give me shelter. Simple life, it's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the We2r Liberians Movement podcast, the voice of collective conscience, where we believe that I am doing good if you are doing good. I'm your host, Ayiti Williams, joined by ever thoughtful colleague and brother Gebah Sekou, as we explore conversations that transcend politics and speak to the very soul of nation building. Tonight, we're privileged to have with us the chairperson of the People's Action Party, PAP, a movement that has positioned itself as a new frontier for integrity, service, and accountable leadership in Liberia. As we look ahead to the 2029 general elections, the PAP promises a departure from politics as usual, pledging to govern with honesty, discipline, and a deep sense of national duty. So we have with us in the studio today for the very first time, like I said, the chairperson and my co-host. So welcome to the our platform, Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed, we'll give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Ayiti, and thank you, Mr. Gebah Kamara, for hosting me tonight. And I'd like to thank your viewers who are watching us and following us tonight and who will follow later. My name is Ahmed Cabinet Sirleaf. I'm the organizing chair of the People's Action Party, PAP. PAP, I will talk about it. I look forward to the discussion to talk about why a new party, why PAP, why we believe this party is distinctive, is unlike any in the history of Liberian political culture, and by extension, Liberian governance culture. For me personally, this is my first time in active politics. I'm a technocrat. I'm a policy wonk. I have background in law and background in public policy and government. Just about finishing a PhD work in organizational leadership and education. I have advanced training in law, advanced training in public policy. In the past, I've worked internationally with the U.S. government, U.S. Agency for International Development, primarily in Africa. Done some, work for other international organizations relating to United Nations and so on. And I've taught at the University of Liberia. I've been involved in education in Liberia. I helped to resource law books and legal research libraries to the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law at the University of Liberia. Pretty much anyone who went to law school in Liberia in the last 15 years benefited from an initiative that I led that took about $1 million worth of law books and refurbished the entire library to contribute to legal education in Liberia. I've taught myself at the University of Liberia for 6 years, in volunteer capacity. And more recently, I taught at the Cottington Graduate School. I actually still do teach there. And so I come to this having observed Liberian governance from across the table as a development partner to Liberia at the highest level, and also as someone who went to the classroom to interact with Liberian technocrats and leaders, because I taught at a graduate level. And in graduate school, you know that you're talking about representatives, ministers, judges, middle-class folks, civil society folks. Those are people that I've helped train and taught in Liberia. So I've been extensively involved in Liberia over my career. I have seen from the background, now it's time to step forward because we believe we've ceded the space far too long that has contributed to misgovernance and bad governance in the country. So I'm looking forward to diving into the discussion.
Thank you for being on our platform. Well, at this time, we will give our brother, Gebah Sekou, an opportunity to kind of introduce himself. Hopefully, just give words of greeting.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Gebah Sekou Kamara, a Liberian residing in the United States, in the beautiful Keystone state of Pennsylvania. I am a Liberian author, former adjunct professor of criminal justice in the United States, work in the field of behavioral health, mental health. I'm currently the vice president of Solid Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that I established with my wife and mother-in-law. We do serve underserved community in Liberia, women and girls. Um, and also, we do serve various schools. We sponsor, talented young Liberians who don't have the financial means. We provide scholarship opportunity for them. So I am very excited about this opportunity to, share this platform with Mr. Ahmed Salib, as well as my brother Ayiti. So looking forward to, a great discussion.
So great to have you both on the show. I know it's been a while, Gebah, since we sat on set here. But it's always a pleasure to have you, to share time and space with you. So tonight, again, it's really an exciting and an extraordinary opportunity to sit and share this platform with Mr. Ahmed Salib the second. Is that what it is, Mr. Salib?
Yeah, I go by Ahmed K. Salib the second. Not a junior. I share the name with my father, so I just go by the second.
Okay. All right. So as a tradition, we're asked that we now begin to share the show with as many people as possible. This show, in fact, is being aired both on or streamed on Facebook as well as YouTube. So you can go ahead and now begin to share the show. I think I'm going to go ahead here and share the show so that we can have.
Yeah, if you can send me the link in your messenger, I'll be happy to share with people who are waiting to watch the show.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that while we have the show being streamed. So Gebah, I believe strongly that you are able. You probably is watching the show currently. I'm sharing the show right now. I'm going to share the link with you, Ahmed. There you go. Mr. Ahmed, you should have it in your messenger. So you can go ahead and share it. Gebah, you can do the same as well.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet, but
you should be able to see it. Yeah, surely. I think I don't know if you heard it. Drop in there. I just shared it. Gebah, do you have it? Okay.
I don't have it in my messenger yet, but we can proceed. I mean,
I'll go still with proceed, and then at some point I'll go back ahead. And so tonight's show will be we talk on the back end will be done in 2 segments simultaneously in a way that I will be talking to you strictly, just asking you questions as it relates to your party, the political party, party manifesto, what sets you apart. We did subdivide the interview tonight into segment, looking at the philosophy, identity, and movement of your organization, national development and governance. We want to look at that. We want to look at unity, youth, and social cohesion, Pan-African and global engagement, election strategy, and political landscape. And then I believe strongly that Gebah will be talking to you. He will be more of the voice for the diaspora. So he has some questions that he will be asking you here. And I'm pretty sure that we should be ready to go. So now, beyond ideology and slogans, tonight conversation seeks to pierce deeper into conscience, into community, and into the moral fabric of our shared humanity. As a great African humanist, Desmond Tutu said, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." So the question we pose tonight to the chairperson, to our people, and to ourselves is this: are we truly building a Liberia where We are all doing good because we are all doing good together. Now, with that being said, I'll go ahead with our very first question here. The PAP's foundation speaks of unity, integrity, and service. In a society where corruption has too often defined governance, how does your leadership plan to restore moral integrity, not just in government, but in the heart of Liberians themselves?
Hmm. Thank you. I can, maybe you can mute. I'm getting some feedback, some audio feedback coming in. Thank you, Ayiti. This is a very good question to begin our discussion with tonight, because since the end of the Civil War, or perhaps even before that, there's been the breakdown of morality in our society. Breakdown of institutions, social institutions, the family system, for instance, our cultural systems, our traditional systems that, promote cohesion and hold society together. By extension, that produces the people who govern us, because our leaders are a reflection of us as the people. Um, PAP, we're positioning ourselves as a people-centric party, as a party that belongs to everyone, that everyone contributes to, everyone, roll their sleeves or whatever it is to jump in there. And people are not used to that, because people have been used to a patronage system. People have been used to, a political culture where everything has been given to them. They come to party meetings, they expect you give them money, you pay their way. Maybe one or two patrons come and bankroll all the expenses, and then they control the party from the top. And so the people are not used to owning an institution. First of all, building an institution, because we said no. What has bedeviled our governance system and our country has been this idea that you don't have institutions, you have individualism. You have a political party that's about one person, maybe who has money, who has ambition, who has an ego, who has some dirty money, who knows where the guy that reaches from, and says, you know what, I want to be president. Therefore, they establish a political party. Everybody runs behind them. When the money dries up, or God forbid something happens to them, or they leave the political stage, the party dies down. So people are used to that sort of thing. Here we are saying that hasn't helped us. We have to build an institution that runs like a machine, that anyone can run, that runs like a company, except for it's not making profit, that runs year round. It's not just an electoral project where election time you run around, with slogans and give people t-shirts and rice and so on, and then you buy their vote. We're saying we're building an institution, and therefore you ought to be a part of it. So I'm explaining this to say is an illustration of how broken down our moral fabric is, that people don't believe that there can be institutions that come to the people and say, look, it's inclusive, you are a part of it, you have to contribute your 100 liberty, 200 liberty, you have to make decisions. This here's, Mr. Kamara, I mean, we put stuff in our chat room and things that should be considered by a National Executive Committee level. They said, no, Mr. Chairman, I mean, why are you putting this in with everybody? We said, no, we need people to vote. We want to hear their voices. So we believe that to move Liberia forward, we have to begin to work on mindset, to shift mindset in a radical way, not in a violence, radical manner, but in a manner that really changes people's consciousness. Because, there's some practical examples, some small things, somebody can be sitting on the roadside selling, and they're eating and they're throwing the dead right next to them. They don't see it as a problem. The thing is the city's problem. The city thinks it's the central government's problem. The central government doesn't do the job. You have a city corporation that sits there. The city is filthy. And then the people work there, they help to make it filthy. You say, why are you doing this? They say, well, we're not my house. But you're selling there, it could make you sick. These are the kinds of things that we're talking about. You from that basic illustration to the highest office in the land, where people think that they can do anything and get away with it because they don't have this common good mentality. So it will take mental model shift. It will take mindset shift to really address morality, to anchor yourself on integrity. And to do so, we ourselves, the PAP as a party, ought to begin demonstrating integrity and honesty and sincerity, which is why on our website you saw a pledge to the Liberian people that begins with that foundation.
Wow. I want to thank you for such thing like lost his audio. I lost your audio. I don't know about.
Oh, I don't know. I can hear you. I'm here. I don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I had lost you for a second.
I can hear you. I'm here.
Yeah, but that's a great way to start the show, talking about mindset, because that's one thing. Our platform also believe that the problem that the country is faced with has to do with the one would say is politics, but the quality of individual that the country has produced over the years and is still producing is actually as a result of what or where the country is now going. So we're excited that that's a poignant area that you are looking at, the mindset, to bring about integrity, transparency, and accountability. So what I would like to do, I'd like to bring Gebah in there. It seemed like he got lost for a second, and maybe he can ask you a question.
Okay.
From the diaspora, and I'll continue. I just want to make sure that you come in. So, Gebah, I think you have a question, then we'll circle back and then come back and ask Mr. Ahmed more questions.
Okay. Thank you, Ayiti. Thank you, Mr. Salif. Diaspora want to know, PAP manifesto often references Singapore as a model for national transformation. Why does PAP see Singapore as the most appropriate model for Liberia's development? And why not draw more heavily from successful African examples such as Rwanda, Botswana, or Mauritius? What specific elements of Singapore governance, economic planning, and institutional discipline does PAP believe are most transferable to Liberia's social, culture, and historical context?
Okay, thank you. It's a good question because, we take inspiration from Singapore People's Action Party, but we don't take inspiration from 100% Singapore's governance style. And not just Singapore, we talk about the Asian tigers. And when those who study economics, who study that model, you're looking at what happened in Malaysia under Mahathir Mohamad and others who took their country from an agricultural parish urban community to a modern upper middle income society. In Singapore, we're particular about Singapore because it resembles Liberia at the time in 1954 when Lee Kuan Yew and others came and said, look, they accept that Liberia has natural resources, has wealth underneath and long coastline. Singapore is just small islet, like small islands, archipelagos, people sitting on the water, people living on the water. They didn't have agricultural land. They didn't have anything. But their children decided that our people are poor. They're suffering. We can change their lives. We can focus on the people. And they established the People's Action Party. They call it Social Democratic Party. That's conservative in a way because they look at racial diversity, and we don't have that kind of problem. We have tribal and other types of social issues. But we're very excited about how the development model that Singapore employed by focusing on education. Not just any type of education, but they specifically look at science, technology, mathematics, and engineering, mathematics, education, and say, look, education takes a long time to see the dividend, maybe 15, 20, 30 years, but we're going to focus on education. We'll train our people. And then the social democratic aspect is you begin to identify pragmatic problems. For them, housing was a problem because people were living on just hanging on the water and they were not living in dignity. So they started building public housing for their citizens, involving the citizen in agriculture, innovation, so that they can pay for the housing and so on. And then they began to train their people. They didn't have a lot of people. They didn't have a large population. They said, we'll train people and pay you well so that you can work for your country. If you steal, up from the prime minister will prosecute you and lock you up. And they began to do that. They're paying people very well so they can live in dignity. Those who are stealing from the public resources, they started prosecuting from ministers, from chief justice, and so on. Liberia, we have a corruption problem. So we believe if we can focus on anti-corruption fight, real anti-corruption fight, prosecute people regardless of who you are or your status, people will stop stealing public resources. They will focus on building the country. So we're learning some of those things from Singapore. Not everything. They've been very autocratic. They've been like a one-party state over all these years. We're not saying we're borrowing all of that. We're saying we take inspiration from what works, what's pragmatic, what resembles Liberia, and try to see every society, of course, is unique, is historically and politically and socio-culturally different and unique. So we're not saying we're going to transplant. We're going to just take inspiration. The Asian tigers, not just Singapore and Malaysia. If you look at South Korea, what we did with Korea, that was a poor country. Look at where it is today. It's an industrialized upper middle income country. Japan was poorer than Liberia. See where they are today. China is still considered part of the global South, but see where they are. You know, in the 1960s, Liberia was ahead of China. But see, China is the largest trading partner to the United States today. So we're saying we can borrow some of those things, ideas, and governance models, not just in Asia. We're looking at what's happening in Rwanda. We look at Monrovia. We say, I began by saying the city is filthy. It's really stingy. It's a filthy city. Rwanda, what they do, they call Clean Rwanda. Beyond that, they're promoting green city, a green country everywhere, right? And technology. So that we're borrowing things from Tanzania, we're borrowing things from Rwanda, Botswana, we're borrowing things from the SADC countries, and even in East Africa. Like I said, Tanzania, Uganda. Other than the dictatorship of Yoweri Museveni, Uganda is one of the highest educated people in Africa. So too Tanzania and Kenya and so on. And so we're lacking behind education. We're borrowing what works in East Africa, what works in Southern Africa, and what we see the Asian countries have done to their countries.
So tonight,
thank you, Mr. Salif.
Okay. So tonight, you'll be joining us. We know that Liberia is at a crossroads. So our topic for tonight, reclaiming integrity, unity, and the people's voice. This is a sit down with Chairperson of the People's Action Party. Chima, that was a great question. I'm not going to dive into it. I'm going to jump right into it because you represent the diaspora tonight. And so my question tonight to Mr. Salif here is, Ubuntu teaches us that I am because we are. Mm-hmm. So how will PAP practically demonstrate this principle in economic and social policy, ensuring national wealth circulates within communities rather than escaping to foreign interests?
Look, PAP has only been around for less than 8 months. I can tell you, our people have embraced our message. They're embracing our message of hope, our message of inclusivity, and our style of governance and our ideology for how our vision for the country. The way we're approaching decentralizing the party, for example. Number one, We'll say we're building an institution. This is not about Ahmed Sirleaf. It's not about anybody. It's not one individual. Anyone want to build a system where anyone can run. And we're going sector by sector, recruiting technocrats, but also looking at the traditional. Our party is the only party that has a national traditional council. Our party is the only party that has a leadership development institute where we say we actually have to train our people. We don't just assume people come here, they have skills, they have expertise, they're able to be party chair, standard bearer, they're able to run for office and succeed and be a great legislator. We said, no, we're going to train you. And if we don't have the expertise and skills to train, to provide all the training we want to do, we invite others to help us do that. We have an institute in the party that's responsible for that. We have a think tank in the party. It's called the Bureau for Research Policy and Planning, right? So if you say the government has the arrest agenda for inclusive development, PAP has an arrest agenda for sort of something similar, we would have done the research and have our own direction for how the country should be governed. If they make mistakes and there are gaps, and we say we're partners in solution because we're focusing on the people. These are some of the practical things we're doing. In terms of how we're going to do this socio-economically, look, I say sector by sector, we're recruiting people, but we're also going to run a party that runs like a company year-round. It's very active. We're focusing on agriculture innovation. I'll give you some practical examples, later in the show if you're interested. We are looking at education of all stripes. Okay, I'm a trained educator, so I'm talking about we're doing TVET, technical vocational education, but we're also doing science, technology, engineering, mathematics education because we know technology and innovation is the future. But then we're also going to focus on training leaders in a way that resembles our culture and our country and our context. We want to train leaders who understand the problems of their people, who will disabuse themselves of this idea that when I come to public service, it means I'm here to get rich. Public service in Liberia, the mentality is, I got to run for office so I can make some money because I don't know anything else. And when I become representative or senator, the government will pay me $15,000, give me $45,000 vehicles. I have this, I have that, and then I'm the rich person. The day you leave office, you have nothing because you didn't have anything when you came in. That's because they've been serving themselves, not the people. So these are the kinds of things that we want to be doing. Going on the countryside, as I speak to you, we got our clearance to take the party to convention ever since in October. But we decided we'd do our convention in March. Why? Because we want to first decentralize the party, establish structure all across the country. So that's not just a Monrovia political party, right? So you go to Grand Jira, people that are speaking the PAP language the same way. You go to Nimba, you go to Lofa, Grand Basso, Grand Kipmo, Bapulu, Bomi, everything. That's what we've been doing. And we're very serious about this because when we go to convention and come back, have our certificate, we want to be able to attract investments to the country, attract partners that will help us to do the type of work that we want to do because it's expensive. I mean, someone asked me and said, this is ridiculous, the kinds of things you're talking about. You're talking about working year-round with people, bringing innovation and how do you plant cassava and turn cassava into rice. They're doing that in China right now. They're importing cassava from Nigeria, turning it into cassava rice, exporting it to Liberia and other countries. Yeah, that's ridiculous. We can do that in Liberia. We can grow cassava, pay the farmers, buy from local growers, train them how to grow, and then bring these machines that produce cassava into rice. And if you think about, just stop and think about that. We eat rice as our staple food. We're used to cassava as well. We do grow cassava. So that you grow that thing on a sort of mechanized scale, and then you have a factory, you're employing people to grow the cassava, you're employing people to run the factory, you're employing people to do processing, you're employing people, the whole value chain here. from that growing to market, right? These are the kinds of things we're doing. We've begun having conversation with folks in China. I have the thing on my WhatsApp here right now. If you're interested, I can share with you later on. You go to healthcare sector, you go to education, the stories are the same. So that's the kind of work we're bringing. When we say social democratic, it means we focus on the people, but we're not here to just give charity. We want to change the mindset, involve the people in growing stuff that they eat themselves and manufacturing things that they wear themselves. I mean, people are afraid of PAP, I have to tell you, because when we explain these things, and I'm not just here saying it because, I can talk. This is, you saw our ideology in the website. This is what we intend to do. These are the kinds of partnership that we're developing. These are the kinds of sort of sub-institutions we're building. If you looked at a PAP organogram, you'll see these things I'm talking about. They're all listed there. So we're very serious, and it's gotten the attention of the country, of the elites, of the politician. So too, the people are understanding our messaging, and they're inviting us to go everywhere.
So thank you for expanding on the question that was asked. But as we all know, traditionally, voters in Liberia don't vote. They don't make or cast that vote based on ideology. Is for the most part sentimental, who know you, and things of that nature. What is PAP doing as far as, I know you talk about a mindset. We can change the mindset of our people. We'll be able to change the things around them. So what are you doing as you go around? I can say for the most part, now that you have your convention coming up, and that would take us to a question that I really want to ask you this question, because you're speaking here as the party national chairperson.
Yeah.
Who is the standard bearer? Is there any primaries coming up? We'll get back to the mindset.
No, standard. We don't, under Liberian law, new election law, and then the 1986 Constitution, Chapter 79. You don't have a standard bearer until you take your party to its first national convention, where the delegates elect a standard bearer and other senior officials of the party. So at this point, we don't have a particular standard bearer. We have strong individuals and personalities who are interested in that role, who are, in the party. We'll see. But at this point, no. You only have the organizing committee and its national organizing chairperson, which I am, humbled to say that they selected me to lead this effort as the national organizing chairperson. So we've put a structure together that will help us to organize the convention, because there's a lot we're doing. We've acquired a party headquarters. We're restoring the party headquarters. We have to have various structures around the country, as I was explaining to you earlier. So you need a structure. We have an international diaspora, forum bureau, and we have various structures around the world to reach Liberians who are outside of Liberia. These are the types of work that me as an organizing chair, I'm leading my team to focus on, to build the institution from the ground up to convention. After convention, you call me back here. I'll be telling you who the standard bearer is and how that person's vision aligns with PAP. In terms of mindset shift, look, you hit the nail on the head. That is a major challenge we're having right now. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. Some of the things people are used to in other political parties, and now they're coming to PAP, and that those who have not been in a political party at all, but being a Liberian, they're just used to certain ways of politics and political party culture, and that's what they expect. So when they come to PAP, we say, no, this is a different place. We're doing it differently. They're very shocked. Some of them withdraw and then later come back. So I give you some examples of that. You go on the radio. I go on the radio. I'm talking a lot because I have to introduce the party. I'm on TV. I'm on radio. I'm on the show. So look, I'm talking now, but we'll go to convention. We come back. We have the secretariat in place. You see me talking less. We'll be focusing more on action because we have action, we're about the people. But now I have to tell you what the party is all about. And they say, "Oh, Chairman, you go on the radio, you're talking about we're partners in solution. You got to take a position, you got to be strong, criticize the government and tell them, don't say anything good about them. Don't say they're doing good here, they're doing good there, they're doing, I will say, no, that's not it. We're not here to destroy anything. We are a constructive opposition party. We're partners in solution that's focusing on Liberia and the Liberian people. If this administration has done something good, we will say it. They've done something inadequate, we will say thank you, but we need more. And here's how you can get to more. If they're interested, they will have a conversation with us. So people are not used to that kind of narrative or that kind of politics, right? That you say, "Lord, how can you talk to the government?" They said to me, "How do you have a dialogue with the government? How do you share your ideas with the government?" So, but the government is Liberia. It's for the Liberian people. If they fail, Liberia fails. The Liberian people have failed, and we say we are a party of the people. So this, that's just an example. And then you're asking the people to contribute money. They said, "No, I mean, people who establish political party are already rich people. They come here, they give us money. What are you talking about?" Said, "No, yeah, you have to put money in there." Mr. Kamara is laughing because he knows what I've been going through. I said, "No, you have to put money there." "Oh, but I only have 1,000 Liberty." That's plenty of money. So that's the kind of culture we're bringing, and people are not used to that. They come to party meetings. Mr. Chairman got pay away. Say, "No, if you can't afford to pay your way back, don't come here. But when you come here, we need you here. We need you to make the sacrifice to have your transportation back and forth. If you need me to help you with transportation, maybe discuss it with me ahead of time. I can help you. I'll help you." Or the party has a way of doing that to facilitate people for special events. We will transport people. But this idea that we're coming to just collect, and not give back, it translates to this whole idea of going to public service to collect. You're not serving the people. You're not there to serve your country. So we're debunking these what seem to be some little behaviors, but they're very serious that have destroyed the country. These are some of the challenges that we're dealing with. They're saying, "Look, people will not vote for you if you say, you partner with the government or they're doing something. You say, yeah, you're doing something good here." People don't like that. They're used to fighting. They're used to you insulting. They're used to you saying they're doing nothing, even if they're doing something. So it will take time. It will take time. We're not dismissing the political culture. I'll be naive to say that because and they say all politics is local. I think it's Mark Twain who said that all politics is local. It means that politics is based on the local culture, how the people think, how they behave, what are their needs, what are their expectations. Okay, so we have to tap into some of that. At the same time, we have to begin gradually to disabuse people of certain behaviors and mindsets that have destroyed the country over time.
Thank you. Again, Liberia is at a crossroad, reclaiming integrity, unity, and people's voice. A conversation with the chairperson of the People's Action Party. Right now, we will circle back to Gebah. Thank you for that response. And then I will continue with questions right after Gebah poses his question and your response. So, Gebah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Salih, and thank you, Ayiti. Mr. Salih, I just want to say thank you very much for your response. This platform is all yours, so we're not here to go back and forth into, asking you any, counter question with regards to what you're explaining, because I think it's still at an infant stage where you still selling the party to the Liberian people and to the world. So. Thank you for your responses, and I'll go back to the diaspora question. So the diaspora said, many Liberians in the diaspora feels that successive governments have treated them primarily as the sources of remittances or ATM machine, rather than as strategic partners in national development. How will a PAP-led government fundamentally change Liberia's relationship with a diaspora to ensure meaningful participation in policy making investment skills transfer, and national reconstructions. Can you outline concrete mechanism PAP would implement to integrate diaspora expertise into governance and economic planning?
Mhm. Thank you. I mean, that's an idea that I'm going to borrow because, as you said, PAP is in its infancy. We're not really at a policy level yet, where we have, policy prescription for every major thing that we're going to do. We have a broad manifesto. I mean, if those in politics, manifestos is like when you're running for election, you say this is how we'll govern. But as a political party, you have a very high level manifesto that elevates and speaks to your political philosophy, your party's ideology. It positions your party, it demonstrates where the party stands or thinks about things. So we have a broad ideology, manifesto here that addresses the diaspora directly. We have some ideas, and we'll be doing our research. Our National Policy Research Policy Planning Bureau is looking at that. But we're borrowing some things from some African countries, some Asian countries as well. We're going to Asia because Asia was poorer than Liberia, and then some of them are doing quite well. If you look at Nepal, for example, the diaspora program, the way they've leveraged the diaspora. If you look at India, the way India has leveraged its diaspora, or even look at a country like Ghana, what they're doing to leverage the diaspora. Today, Ghana has multiple major airlines that have daily flights, right? From British Airways, Air France, now Delta Airlines, originates out of Atlanta, out of New York City, United. I just flew United from Accra to Dallas Airport, right? And when I was going, I flew from Minneapolis to DC to Accra. We don't have that. Liberia, we have to hop around, right? I was traveling from Monrovia to Banjul. I had to fly from Monrovia, Abidjan, Accra, Freetown, Banjul. That is a problem. It is a problem because it means that we don't have a market economy, no direct links between markets, no direct economic flows of goods and services and people from major markets to our country. We have to go to other people. You have to land in Freetown if you're going SM Brussels. Okay, you have to fly into Accra. You have to fly to Togo before you come to Monrovia. That is a problem. The way Ghana has positioned its diaspora because of the Ghanaian diaspora, Delta says there's a demand here. And so we're going to provide multiple addresses directly from Atlanta, Georgia, Hartfield, Jackson to Kotoka International. These are the kinds of things. Diaspora people, you have the education, you have the connection, you have the capital, you have the network. Okay. And what I tell people is it will take Liberians in Liberia and Liberians in the diaspora together to build this country. No one person is more superior than the other. People in Liberia like to say, oh, homegrown problem or homegrown solution. They can't do it by themselves. And so we can go there with arrogance and say, oh, we know I'm here, I know everything. It's not possible. You don't know anything about Liberia. You've been away for a long time, but you love Liberia. You have education, you have connection, you may have money, you have specific technical training perhaps, or you have connections. We need to leverage that. We're not looking for just, PAP is not positioning to just cash on diaspora people. Even our diaspora program, our international PAP diaspora program, we're saying, look, we want to involve you in decision making. We want to involve you in meetings that we're having. We want your ideas. We want you to come to the convention. So yes, when we're raising funds, both at home and abroad, we ask you to contribute. But we're not going to say we only have PAP North America or PAP Afro Asia because of the money. That's not going to work. So you could have an investment fund, the way we've seen other countries have done. They've built companies, diaspora-based companies, diaspora-based think tanks that are focusing on their countries, that are linking their countries with markets outside, that are creating educational opportunities, educational exchanges. Sierra Leone, for instance, when Julia Matters Bio became president, the first term of his presidency, they had this program. I don't know if they still have it, a diaspora volunteer program, where you come if you're a nurse, if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, whoever, an agriculture person, you want to contribute. They allow you to come for 6 months. They pay for housing. They give you a little stipend that will allow you to move around, give you transportation, and then you volunteer the rest of the time. You can teach at a university for 1 semester and come back to your base. You can, be a nurse and work somewhere in the village for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then come back. But you have housing. You're not worried about transportation. You're not worried about those basic things. It's a partnership. That's how PAP is looking at the diaspora, as a partnership, as people who will help us to really develop organizations and structures and companies that will be able to do the type of work that we want to do with the people directly, whether it's in agriculture, healthcare, education, information technology, fishery, tourism, you name it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we'll circle back to me. Gebah, we'll get back to you to ask more questions. So if you have tuned in, as a tradition, we ask that you please share the live with as many people as possible. This is the We2r Liberians movement, a podcast. Mr. Salif, we have a saying that says that we speak to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we say we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process.
I like that.
People not only in Liberia, but even around the world. So I want to pivot a little bit to education and health, which is central to your manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Liberia. Yeah.
Before you proceed to that, the diaspora have a question on education. So I don't know if you want me to sum up through or you want to go with
you can go ahead and ask that question.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump in the diaspora questions. All right. Liberia continued to rank among countries with the highest illiteracy rate globally, severely limiting national productivity and civic participation. Given this reality, with PAP commit to free and compulsory education from elementary through high school, paired with a guaranteed technical, vocational, or skill certification for every Liberian student, can you give a practical example of how PAP will fund, implement, and sustain such a policy?
Yeah, education has been the Achilles heel to Liberia's growth and development. Every Liberian president, education has bedeviled their leadership. Except for President Talbot, I think he really tried to elevate education to a different level. Now it's even worse. We have a young population whose parents are more educated than they are. Those who went to school in the 1980s and the 1970s, 1960s are more educated than our children who were born in the 1990s, in the 2000s. That's just the reality. You get on the radio, you have young people who are DJing, who are hosting, their English can add up. The verb subject, it just becomes a normal thing in Liberia for people to speak broken English, and it's fine, and that speaks to our educational challenge. So as someone who has studied education at graduate school level, there are different types of education policy making or education leadership or decision making. I can't sit here now and say this is PAP's education policy. All we know is that education will unlock growth and development, just like it did in Singapore, just like it did in Malaysia, just like it did in Korea and in Japan. The type of education that unlocked in Tanzania, right? The so-called what was the socialist education Julius Nyerere implemented in Tanzania. The type of education that we saw has helped Kenya to take off in a lot of ways, and to a certain extent, Uganda as well. Southern Africa, education is what has really made them to be who they are. With all the problems Mugabe had, Zimbabwe is one of the highest educated population on the African continent, even more educated than South Africa. Until this new president came in, every Zimbabwean you met either had a first degree or had a master's degree. Every three out of 4 Zimbabweans. Let me come back. You can go and look at it. It's a World Bank data that's out there. It's not me saying it. They focus on education. And so, yes, they have other challenges. They all African countries, right? Rural African countries that are challenged with food security, that are challenged with healthcare, that are challenged with modernization of their infrastructure of their country. Okay. But if you have an educated population, what you have is an educated workforce. So that your planning now will not focus, you won't be worried so much about people not knowing how to operate machinery, people not knowing how to function as a doctor, how to function as a teacher, how to function as an agriculture extension officer. You will train them, but it will be less intensive, capital intensive. What we have, we're starting from near to nowhere. Okay, so you actually have to begin training a brand new generation of young people from preschool to elementary and so on to the kind of science, technology, engineering, education we're talking about. Now, I'm not condemning every Liberian. I'm not sitting here to condescend and talk down on my country or my people. I'm just speaking data, reality that I am a teacher. Just semester, I just finished teaching 3 courses at Cottington Graduate School. For 6 years, I volunteer taught at the University of Liberia. And I told you earlier, I brought millions of dollars worth of books there. So I'm not someone who just talks. I act and I see the data. I do research. Okay. We have a problem with education. And education ministers in various government administrations, from President Sirleaf to this, how much do you hear of them? How much do you hear of the progress? You hear they say, oh, they just launched and the Excel program. Because education, you can look at policy, you look at instruction, you look at infrastructure, you look at all kinds of aspects of education, right? What do you want to do first? Do you want to build school buildings? Do you want to train teachers? You want to deal with teacher payroll problem? Liberia, what we have multiple payroll structure. For 5 years, I worked for a development agency on these issues in Liberia, right? Now they have volunteer teachers because the education ministry can't just put people on payroll. There are these ghost names. Teachers who from 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they're still on the payroll. And people don't want to get rid of them. They're still on the payroll. So new teachers you have, not only are these teachers not trained and qualified properly, but they can't get on the payroll. Okay. And then you don't have school districts in Liberia. The only school district system you have is the Monrovia Consolidated School System, MCSS in Monrovia, which they copied after the California Oakland area school districts in the 70s or so. President Turbo tried to experiment to see the Monrovia area schools, if you could create them as a district and be able to extrapolate that around the country. Now, they couldn't get to that. Under Boakai, it was President Shirley, We2r and Boakai, they passed a law that will replicate that MCSS system across the country. So you have school districts, you can actually monitor and try to do education that way. I'm saying that there are multiple rungs and layers of education challenges in Liberia. You're looking at young people who are semi-illiterate, functionally illiterate, they're on motorbike, they don't care, they say they went to college, but they don't have job skills. They can function on the computer. They can produce clean, organized document for you. They can produce a spreadsheet for you. They can produce a PowerPoint presentation for you. Then these are work skills. You know that. These are job skills. So yeah, somebody say, I got my bachelor degree in sociology. They can't even spell the thing correctly. But these are college graduates. So the universities are producing thousands of students in disciplines that the country is not ready for. Areas that the country is ready for, concessionaires are asking for engineering and all these things. We're not training people. Statisticians, we're not training people in these things. So we have some policy alignment work to do to overhaul grade school level structure, and then overhaul the higher education structure. Then you go to vocational. Some of these things that used to work before, the MBTTs of the world, the BWIs of the world, and so forth and so on. So PAP, all we can say is, look, we're going to zero in on education because we know that's our biggest problem. If we say we're model after Singapore, education is one thing that we have to do, and the way they did in Singapore, it worked for them.
So thank you,
Mr. Stelly. This area is very dear to me. Like you, myself. I know what education took me. Starting school from the age of 14 years old. And here I am. Because of education. So and having the ability to teach in classroom in the United States, I know the importance of education. So I'm really happy that the diaspora brought this question up, but I thanks for your response, and then I'm glad that you guys are thinking about this area, because without an educated workforce, Liberia can't go anywhere, no matter what we do.
And we're looking to partner with the diaspora leaders and experts who have ideas, who have solutions. PAP is not positioning itself to say we have all the solutions. We want to be an inclusive party. Our Bureau for Research Policy Planning will be reaching out, and to collecting ideas and data to study and look at these issues.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have more questions, Gebah? You want me to?
You can go ahead. I still have two more questions from the diaspora.
Okay. I think there's a few questions there in the live feed. If you look in there, there's a question from the diaspora. So eventually you can look in there. Maybe
are people on live, like following?
Yeah. I'm looking at it. That's what I'm saying. If someone has a question and they're in the diaspora, so I was wondering if Gebah can also.
I don't think I'm able to see that, but if you can see it, you want to, bring the question forward, then you can do that also.
Yeah, I'll bring it to the forefront. But I have this question real quick that has to do with our youth representation in the country. We see that the youth represent a little over 60% of Liberia's population, yet many feel very excluded from true decision making. So now to the PAP, how will PAP move from a youth inclusion rhetoric? Because usually we use these individuals when we are, campaigning, and we want one to assume high seat. So how do we actually move the PAP now move from youth inclusion rhetoric to youth power in practice?
Thank you. First of all, when we announced our National Executive Committee, these are all acting roles. So until we go to convention, we placed in some young people in very senior roles. It was shocking to the country. These are people never heard their names before. But some are educated young folks, the master's degree level, some of them are in graduate school currently. We call it PAP Young. PAP Young. The PAP Young, there's a reason for that. It's not PAP Youth League or Youth Congress, PAP Young, because we believe PAP Young is the pillar on the future of the party. And so we're placing them in decision making right now, so that they're understanding, but they're also actively being held responsible to provide leadership. We have the National Vice Chair for Administration, for instance, a young lady, the PAP Young leader, it's a young man who's in graduate school. The Bureau for Bureau for Media, media there's something propaganda, something I'm not skipping my mind. These are all young professionals, okay? The point is, we're now big on these big youth slogans, young people agitating around. We're saying we don't even have that. We say we're developing an ode, a PAP sort of anthem, if you will, that is dignified and elevates and energizes the party and people. It's a political movement, it's a political party, so you have to have that. But to just use young people as disposable, as objectified individuals who can come and yell and do things, we're not interested in that, because a political party, a strong political party that is an institutional party, is a government in waiting. And so if it's a government, these are all leaders. You have to prepare them for leadership. And then you run people through the rank and files of the party so that they actually they're training, okay, from being at a district level, maybe you are an assistant or deputy secretary general or youth this, youth that, all the way to the national level. You're training these people. They're observing leadership. They're participating in leadership. They're making decisions. And you're correcting them where you need to correct them. You're putting through people through training and workshop. For instance, our convention, we intentionally are planning it for 3 days. The second day is a day of workshop and training and education. That's when we're having series of workshops, different ways of educating and training, not just somebody standing doing a PowerPoint kind of thing. We're doing that intentionally because, again, we have the LDI, the Leadership Development Institute. So we don't have all the answers yet as to what are the best youth development models that the party could adopt. But because PAP is an inclusive party, is a party that's focusing on the people and solving pragmatic issues, we believe young people are the future of the party, are the future of the country, and we have to focus on them. We see our young people as assets, and we treat them as such. Anyone who, don't take it from me, I don't know who I can point you to talk to. When people come to PAP headquarters and they come to meeting, I open the meetings up. People are shocked and surprised when they say, Mr. Chairman, I never interacted with a national chairman before. I said, well, this is a different party. And you ask them to lead. I ask people to take turn to lead meetings. He said, Mr. Chairman, I've never seen this before. What kind of party is this? So these are the kinds of things that we're trying to do, because if you don't lead, you can conduct a meeting at your national party headquarters. How are you going to conduct a meeting at an entity or in an office environment or in an educational context, right? So we're training people not just by saying that, we're actually practicalizing it. We're having young people participate and do it themselves. We sit by them, we correct them, we guide them, we share experience with them. There will come a time when we will have a full-fledged youth development policy that I can speak to, which we're not there yet. We're just building structures, building the organization to take it to convention and then get to the work in earnest.
Thank you very much. We're a little over an hour. We plan to have this discussion done at least under an hour, but we started a little late. We started at 8:11. It's a little past 9. What is it? 9:16 or something. So we will, ask you more questions, and then we will try to close the show. Hopefully, we'll have you come back. We still have more time, maybe before your convention. You can come and give us more insight on PAP's vision for Liberia. But just before we pivot back to Gebah, let me ask this question real quick, and then you can take the lead on the diaspora question. PAP actually pledged, when I did my research, their pledge actually mentioned serving beyond political gain. So in real terms, I want you to tell us how will PAP enforce accountability within its ranks, ensuring that the party remains a movement of the people, not a machine for privilege?
Yeah, thank you. I'll be quick. It's a big challenge. Earlier on we talked about it. People are used to coming to take things for themselves and system working for them, and so I'm not going to say PAP will just break that right away. But we're coming with this attitude. We're anchored on integrity, and we're demonstrating integrity. We're telling people this is a different place, it's a different institution. You're here to learn about and provide service. Public service is for the common good for society, of the people. This is a party that's centered on the people. It's people-centric. It's not about you. It's not about me. So that's the kind of idea we're pushing, we're demonstrating, we're leading by example. To ensure that, you know, people, first of all, build that in mind. And then we're building accountability measures, right? There's a PAP constitution that speaks to disciplinary measures, that speaks to against corruption, that speaks for accountability in different ways, in leadership, in moral accountability, because if you are an ethical, moral leader, you are able to have a good sense of what accountability looks like. Okay. So first we want to hold ourselves accountable as leaders of the party and demonstrate that and lead by example and say, look, if you lead like this, I'll give you some practical examples, how we handle finances and how we handle fundraising contributions or leadership at district level, county levels, right? We have a national treasurer, we have vice president for finance and something like that. Each contribution, whether it's in kind or cash, we document it and say, look, we have an audit process that this is subject to reporting. People are like, why you got everything somebody brings one wheelbarrow load of sand, you say, oh, let's evaluate this and how much this is going to cost. Somebody contributes 2 chairs. You say you want to document that. I say, yeah, because we have to begin by being accountable and demonstrating that everything you do here is worth money. If you came and stay 2 hours and you contributed your time, it's worth money. You could have been making money somewhere. So we're really building that culture of accountability and transparency. So people see that this is the organization that's open and transparent. You can audit it. You can, count how much money has been donated, where did it go, where is the balance. There's an account, there's a mobile money information. We put reports in our chat room every time. And then people come back and say, oh, but Mr. Chairman, there's spies in the chat room. They will take it to other political parties. You can't just put everything here. And because people are used to secrecy, right? And yeah, I'm not saying we'll be so irresponsible. Everything we do is all out in the open, but we're just trying to demonstrate to folks that in order for this country to move forward, we have to really shift our mindset from self to service to the common good. And the way you do that, you have to demonstrate that, look, it's possible that Ahmed Salif can come here and truly work for the sake of the people. You have to pay me. I have children, I have family. I have to live, right? And I'm not saying everything is here is going to be a charity. No, but people have to get used to that kind of thing. And that's the culture that we are building. We're not quite there yet. We are in the infancy. We're building the institution, but we're anchoring ourselves again on integrity, honesty, and transparency.
Love that. Just before we circle back to Gebah, it's often said that it is only lonely at the top when leader rise without the people. So, what you're saying here, I think they're really touching the fact that it's all people centered. It's about people where we're not just about ourselves. Again, takes me back to our core value, where I am only doing good if you're doing good. I am because we are. I think it's very important. And yes, so thank you very much for that. We'll get to some critical questions hopefully when you get back. But let's pivot to Gebah now with some of our diaspora questions.
All right. Thank you, Ayiti. Thank you, Mrs. Selly. Because of time, so I'm just gonna I have 3 questions, but I'm just gonna do one because of time, and hopefully, when we do have the opportunity to, have you back before your departure, then we can touch some of those. So I'm gonna give you this last question from the diaspora. Liberia was founded by free Black Americans in partnership with indigenous people. Yet, Liberia had lagged behind countries like Ghana in reconnecting with and welcoming descendants of the African diaspora. What concrete step will a PAP-led government take to repair this historical disconnect and actively encourage Black Americans and other diaspora Americans to reconnect, invest, resettle, and build in Liberia? How will a PAP ensure this process benefit both returning descendants and indigenous Liberians in a spirit of unity and shared prosperity?
Yeah, that's loaded. You know,
I know.
yeah.
You can just catch anyone, okay?
I'll try. You
Yeah.
know what Ghana is doing. That's where Liberia should be. That's where Liberia should have been.
Yeah.
But my observation is because Ghana has gotten ahead of us in terms of growth and development, in terms of economic diversity and infrastructure development, modernization. As a result, they're attracting folks. People, the African diaspora, people are moving to Ghana. They're living there, establishing businesses. They're living comfortably. The bitter truth is, the hard truth is, we don't have that. We are the original, like you rightly stated, Liberia was founded on the basis of returnees, from the African diaspora coming back to Africa, and they came to Liberia. And yet we're not able to attract them because we don't have what it takes to retain people comfortably in the country. That's just the truth. Even us in the diaspora here, when you go there are a lot of sacrifices you have to make to really be able to live comfortably in Liberia, with respect to the lifestyle that you've been used to. And so we have to step up. We have to build a country. Yes, we're asking people to come to help us build, to invest in the country, to bring that technical expertise and the investment, that knowledge and all of that. But they also have to come to something. They have to meet something in place. Good healthcare system, for instance. So when somebody doesn't have to run to the US every now and then, and good, comfortable, constant supply of energy and electricity, different ease of doing business in the country is a challenge, actually. These businesses, you see, the overhead alone it drives prices for consumers. And so we have to step up to create the environment. If you want to invite somebody to spend the weekend with you, you first have to clean your house, right? You first have to make sure that your place is comfortable, that it will resemble or at least give them similar comfort as they've been used to. And so we have to make Liberia an attractive destination overall, period. Once we do that, it won't be difficult. It will be the natural destination for the African diaspora, American Liberians, African Americans, for instance, who are going to Ghana. I've had this conversation at a personal level with African American friends and colleagues, people I know in the US. They don't see Liberia as a destination because they can go to Ghana and say, look, I've been living here for 10 years. Look at my business. And, I can get on the Delta flight back to Atlanta in 12 hours. We don't have that. To be honest with you, Mr. Kamara, right now, this Barker administration, they have a thing called the annual diaspora return. But my brother, it's not the diaspora return that we see in Ghana host.
Yeah.
It's just we're fooling ourselves. Liberian people who Decemberists, they call us, and people who come to Liberia during the holidays, that carouse them, bring them together, and take them to the mansion. The president speaks to them. They have a little meeting on the side. They say investment meeting. We're not being honest with ourselves. That's
Yep.
not the diaspora return. People
Yeah.
are not coming home to stay. They're vacationing. They see their family. These are Liberians, So let's make the place attractive for an attractive destination. Truly, it will attract people to come home.
Thank you very much, because this is something I have wrote. A lot of my books is about this.
Yeah,
And it pained me because
it's
I
now.
saw Ghana in 2008,
Yeah.
knew what Ghana was, and today what Ghana is. And it pained me when I talk to Black American here. They're like, "Where? Liberia? Where's that at?" And I'm like, "Dude, so I get you, and I hope that this is something on the mind of the PAP leadership. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for raising that. Yeah.
But Gebah, just before I ask my closing question, I'll let you continue. I wanted to say something before he concludes.
No, I was just saying, I was just in Ghana. As I mentioned, I flew from there, my flight. My brother actually lives in Accra, and so I had to spend some time there. I was there also as a refugee in the 90s. I mean, I couldn't recognize places anymore.
Yeah.
People are building their country. You're going to drive from Accra to Bujumbura camp, where the refugee camp used to be. All of that is the city. It's, the laying railways and modern highways, overpasses, metro transit. This is the Senegal. They have, commissioned one of the largest metro transit in the region. Nigeria, there's an express from Abuja to Katsina, Lagos to Kaduna, on the train, high-speed train. And so we have a lot to do to try to open the country up. When we say, people think that we're joking, look, we're not ambitious enough, okay? This is what I've been saying over and again. You say the rice price is stable. Oh, okay, now the rice price is stable. Gasoline price, people now standing in line. Oh, look at the light, no more generator noise. Now electric LEC is stable. It only goes for 2 hours, 3 hours. Really? Is this our ambition? We're joking.
Yeah. Our dream don't scare us. And that's where, if your dream don't scare you, then you're not going anywhere.
That's it. The rise in the gasoline, the electricity, these are basic things that should be there in the first place.
Exactly.
We made the road pliable. Now you can drive to Grand Jira in 6 hours instead of 3 days. Pave the roads. No money. We do have money. If you look at the next time you call me, we'll talk about concessions. We can talk about how to raise. There's the money. We have money under our feet in the ground everywhere in Liberia, but we're not ambitious enough. We're not thinking big enough. And that's where PAP is really leaning to.
So thank you again. But Gebah, on that note, I'd like to, since you don't have your phone to get into the live feeds, let me ask this question from one of I would say the individuals here in the diaspora, and then I'll go ahead and I ask my concluding question. His question here is from Jacqueline Augusta Sudia. It says, "Great ideas as explained. However, does Liberia need a new political party to execute these developmental agendas? If the current government is on track, why not work with them?" But I think your response is not just answer the question here now.
Yeah, actually, we've been accused, PAP has been too sympathetic to the current government because of our style of opposition politics. We're saying we are partners in solutions. If the government is doing something good, we say it. Where there's shadow, there's gap, we suggest alternative solutions, right? But we're challenging the current government and saying they're not ambitious enough for our comfort. Where we are, Liberia's behind. PAP is not coming because we want to add yet another political party. You tried. Some of us have worked behind the scenes in the past with current politicians and leaders of supporting ideas and vision for the country. But sometimes, if people don't see the way you're looking at things and the way your vision for the country, you got to step forward. And if the institutional arrangements are not suitable for the kind of work you want to do, it's okay to establish a new institution. Perhaps people will begin to see new ways of thinking and doing things.
Thank you very much. For lack of knowledge or lack of vision, the people perish. It's said in the book of Habakkuk, write a vision, make it plain. So I totally concur with what you just said. But just before I get to our concluding question to close up the show tonight, I want to ask you this question. This is something that I heard in time past, just doing my own research quite recently about the PAP. What is Sir Joseph alignment with the PAP?
Thank you. Sir Joseph is one of the vision bearers of PAP. And the reason is, this conversations about establishing a party like PAP has been in the making for the last 3 years. Different groups in Liberia and the US and other in Canada, I think, over the years, we've been having conversation to avoid this very thing about, why a new political party? The idea was to work with other parties, existing structures, to really focus on the people. Look, Sir Joseph is a sitting senator. You can say he's one of the politicians in the system, but he's a magnet in the country. Whether like him or not, whether you know it or not, we know he's a magnet in the country. On top of that, his style of politics appeals to the PAP's ideology. For instance, this man's lifestyle, the way he uses the political money they all get. He's building markets for people. He's building schools. He gets support from abroad, donations and so on. And then he donates these things and builds schools. Churches are giving money and build these schools and send people there for free. This is kinds of things that PAP wants to be doing. And so if he is part of the party, he's in the party, we welcome him. He's a member and an enthusiast of PAP. We welcome him. He's one of the presumptive contenders for PAP political leader or standard bearer position. The delegates will decide that when we go to convention. There are a number of leaders who are looking to apply for that role, to run for that office. The delegates, PAP Congress will decide that when we go to convention. But Sir Joseph, I can't sit here and say, oh no, I just dismiss this role. That's not true. He's a strong leader in the party. One of our funders. There are a number of people. We try to go away from one individual, two individuals just bankrolling. Then it will be the same old thing that everybody else does. We're really trying to raise fund and make the party everybody's party. But Sir Joseph is a strong leader in the party.
Thank you very much. I have a concluding question, and at the conclusion of that question, you can give us your closing remark. That'll be followed by my co-here, Gebah Sekou. Finally, Chairperson Ahmed F. Salib. Am I right? The second?
Yes, Ahmed K. Salib. Yes,
Salib, the second. Okay. If we hold to the We2r Liberians moral compass that I am only doing good, or I'm only doing good if you're doing good, what single commitment can PAP make tonight that assures every Liberian, from Grand Crew to Nimba, from Monrovia to the diaspora, that your good will also be their good?
That's the Ubuntu, African tradition. That I am who I am because you are who you are. If you are not who you are properly, then I can't be who I am properly. There used to be a senator here, Paul Weston. I think he died in a plane crash. And he used to say something very similar to that Ubuntu concept. He said, we do well when we all do well. PAP that's our ideology. We say, look, let's focus on the larger society. Let's focus on the people. We make the society prosperous. Everybody else will be prosperous. But if I'm prosperous and the larger society is poorer, I'm not prosperous, because people come to me with every single problem. Look at the ridiculous thing our legislators tell us. oh, make my salary big because the people come to me with all their problems. You know, somebody in the hospital, somebody's rent, somebody got to go to school, they come to their lawmaker. Well, if you create jobs, you create opportunities,
Yeah.
you make the country prosperous. People will work and in dignity. They will send their own children to school to pay their own. No one wants to be begging somebody else to do something like that for them. And so that's the mentality that we're breaking. PAP is saying, we're working with the people, alongside with the people, building farms, agriculture innovation, tourism, vocational training, education, healthcare, so that the people themselves can earn money and live in dignity and do the things that they want to do for themselves. That is the Ubuntu way, right? The community is I am who I am because my community, I'm just the reflection of my country, just a reflection of my people. If I can make my people prosperous and successful and live in dignity, then who am I? You know, and that's truly, really directly, it speaks to the heart of the PAP's political ideology.
Awesome. What would be your closing remark then?
My closing remark is, look, I'm inviting all Liberians at home and abroad to join the PAP. This is a new movement. Sometimes I don't know how to explain it. The way truly we're doing it, we're building it systematically because we're scared. We're scared that our country is so behind. We don't accept the conditions of the country. We don't accept the abject condition or conditions of our people, the poverty in the country. Monrovia, for instance, the filthy, filthy, stench city. I'll say it without any fear because it's the truth. I don't have to wait for some European diplomat to come tell me that this is the dirtiest city in the world. And like Monrovia is, it doesn't have to be that way. So it's unacceptable that our city is like that. It's unacceptable that Liberia is where it is. We want to dream big. We want to act upon our dreams. And to do so, we have to implement some radical shift, some radical mindset shift, and take action, bold, pragmatic actions that focus on the people, that focus on real problems. That's the proposition that PAP is bringing. We invite you to join us. We invite you to take us seriously because we're not just talking. You hear me talking, but you will see more action after March 2026.
Wow. Thank you so much for being with us. As you all know, this is the national chairperson for PAP tonight, who came finally articulated their party manifesto. This was not just an intellectual exercise. I think it was an opportunity for us to get to know exactly what PAP stands for. We got a gist, and we look forward to seeing you back here on our platform. But I'll now, pivot to Gebah, who will give us his closing remark, and then I'll go ahead and close the show. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation to your viewers as well.
Thank you, Mr. Salif, and we really appreciate your time. We look forward to having you again.
Invite me, I'll be here.
Okay, this is a closing reflection. As we close, remember the timeless words of Amilcar Cabral: tell no lies, claim no easy victories. For Liberians, rebirth would not begin with slogans or sound bites, but with truth, love for country, and collective accountability. Because indeed, I am because we are. In Liberia, we rise when we all rise together. Until then, thank you very much for being with us. The incomparable Mr. Ahmed Salif, Salif, right?
Ahmed Salif the second.
Thank
you.
Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Look forward to having you with us again. Have a good night. God bless you. Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.